Hi everyone, welcome to Jonny Builds. I am your host Jonny, of course, and today is when it starts. Today is the beginning of the build. I'm so excited for this. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. But a couple things before I get started. I am actually going to be timing the build. I have my timer set up and ready to go, and I'm going to be doing it concurrently through all of the different episodes that I do. I'm going to be streaming this every Tuesday, and what we're going to do is about an hour, a little bit more. It just depends on how far along I am, like through a bag or something like that. Every Tuesday we're going to do about an hour, starting at 8 o'clock, and I'm going to go and see how far we can get along in each time, and then however long it takes is however long it takes. And then what I'm going to do is take all the videos and put them all together and then speed it up, and then it'll be like a 10-minute video that you can see the build as it goes through and everything like that. But thanks for joining me and choosing to watch, and we're going to get started. I'm going to start the timer as soon as I start opening this first box. I mean, we already opened it a little bit because whenever we did the unboxing, I took out the first instructions, but I put it all back. I'll pretend it's closed, and I'll get my knife out actually to do a pretend swipe of the tape that's already done. So here we'll go. 3, 2, 1, and there goes the timer. Alright, so clip, clip, put the knife away. So this is the first large-scale build I'm going to be doing in this format. The last thing I did was the Y-wing. Let's see, those are parts number 4. You can see I have a close camera right here, my finger's up to it, and then I have the faraway shot camera here, just to make it kind of interesting and give different perspectives. And there's bag 2. So we're going to obviously be doing one bag at a time, and so the other bags I will put back in. There's bag 3 that they're not being used. There's bag number 1. That's our first starting bag. Alright. Now this is different because usually whenever you have like a bag 3, you don't have a little bag 3. Usually it's inside there. So that's kind of different than other builds that I've done. In fact, there are 2 bag 1s. So this bottom structure is going to get built really cool. Up and a separate bag for these. This is the little tire things that are used for, it looks like these are for the neck, maybe? I'm not quite sure, but obviously we'll find out. But box 1 doesn't do the neck, so I'm kind of confused. And then there's another bag 3. It's interesting how they have so many. Whoops. Ran into the camera with that one. More bags way down in there. Bag 4 and another one for 1, another small one. Let's see if there's anything else in this box. There is not. There's just the instructions. So I'm going to take the instructions out. I'm going to actually take the other bags and put them back into the box. So I don't need them right now. This is 3. Oh, that's another 4. So I have a feeling just bag 1, well, bags 1 is going to take about an hour at least. So, alright, so turn the box, put it away for now. Don't need those as well. I'm going to open the instruction book, lay it out there. And then we are going to start opening the bags. Now I have my cart over here. Hard to see. I'm going to move it over a little bit. Well, I guess you can see it on the little camera. You can see Yoda standing there. He was one of the ones I did this past year. The other ones you see here, there's like Darth Vader helmet. I actually just finished last night. A special edition, this is for San Diego Comic-Con. This is the Nebulon B medical frigate. And then the A-Wing I did over the summer. So I just have those kind of sitting out, showing what I've done in the past. But I'm going to use this cart as my placeholder. Special tool, by the way. Special Lego tool. I'm going to use the cart as my placeholder for all the pieces as kind of an easy way to get to everything while I'm building. These, there's so many of these pieces. These are like for Technic, push-throughs and everything for, I mean, this structure has to be very, very, very solid in order to be able to support all the weight of this. Again, 23 pounds of Legos roughly, so that's a lot of Legos. So I'm going to put these little pieces all the way over here. Try to keep them organized and not rolling too much so that I don't lose any. Losing pieces would be bad. More little pieces over here. This cart should be plenty big for what I envision it to be, but you know, I guess we will see. And let's see what the first instructions are. Talks a little bit about the AT-AT itself. There's our special tool. It's actually full size. That's actually kind of cool. It's used for different things. I actually only used the brick separator for the very first time yesterday because I put a piece on incorrectly, and so I had to use this to pry up one of the pieces. Yeah, don't use your teeth like whenever you were little. At least that's what I did. Alright, so number one, we're still opening bags because there are a lot of bags for this very first one. Again, there should be enough room. For all the other builds, this cart was plenty big enough, but this is already taxing the limits. You'll notice I put all the bags over here off to the side, and the reason is, I mean, even though I've looked, I have more times than I can count, I have actually put or left a piece that was vital, that was in a corner or something of the bag. So I never get rid of the bags until I'm done with, you know, the specific build or that specific part of the build. So, alright, there we go. So we got room. So there we go. We are ready. And I'm actually going to pause the timer right here because what I have always done with my builds is I always take a picture of the first piece. There it is. We only have 6,738 more to go or something like that. So I'm going to take a picture of that piece. Let me pause this. If my phone's going to let me. There we go. And there it is. Not much to it. Not very exciting. But there's the first piece. Alright. And now, continuing on, let's resume the timer, and here we go. So, as expected, we're going to have a lot of Technic pieces. Just taking a look at my cameras to see. I'm going to turn him just a little bit. This is my Stormtrooper cam down here. My Stormtrooper head cam, because it's actually mounted on a little Stormtrooper guy. So, he's doing the honors here to keep the camera where it needs to be for the close-ups. I've decided with this build and all my subsequent builds from now on that I'm going to use the official instructions, which as you can see is right here. And I had been using the online instructions for the last several because I didn't want to ruin the instruction book. But I got to the point where I was like, you know, part of the fun of building Legos is using the things that came with it. And the instruction book is part of that. It doesn't need to be pristine because this is getting built. I'm not going to be like trying to save it and resell it or anything. The joy I have in this is building the set itself. So the other thing I'm going to do is, I've done this sometimes in other builds where I would kind of look ahead a little bit and see what was coming next and grab pieces as I saw them, and that's a no-no now. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to build as the instructions say to build, and that is that. So we've got two of these. Now the caveat in that is I'm actually going to make sure that for ones where it's like 2x, this says right here 2x. For that, I can get all the pieces for it. That's kind of a little rule I've set up, or said that's how I'm going to do this. All right, make sure that's the right size. Yep, looks like it. But that way, because there's some things, especially with this, I mean, again, I looked at the instructions online just a little bit to see what I was getting into. And it was interesting because there are some parts, especially with the little pieces. I mean, there's some of these that you have to put on like, oh, I can't remember. It was like 16 or something like that. And there's 4x for the feet and 2x and stuff. So some of those things, I mean, I'm not doing a speed build here, but I am going to speed up some of that process a little bit. All right, making sure everything's good. My timer I thought had paused, but it's still good. So, all right, continuing on. So here we go. Again, a lot of this, and I don't know how many of you may have watched the Lego Builders on Fox, the Lego Master Builders. I actually, as part of the 501st, was at a Lego convention that was in Monroeville about a month and a half ago, and got to meet a couple of the Lego Builders. And one of the things that they always talk about is, I mean, like, you see the sets that they, or the things that they create. They're not sets. They're, you know, massive structures. They talk about trying to, making things as strong as possible. And this is one way that you do it. You use the Technic pieces with these little, spikies. These little, I'm not sure quite what I call them. I've called them different things over the years. I guess they're they're shafts, but they it's not like it just goes through. And a shaft is one of the, that's a longer piece that you slide things on to keep it from moving, but it's longer. These are more along the lines of they're studs. These are always called studs. The tops of the bricks where you join another brick to it is always called the studs. These are like longer studs in order to just join the Technic pieces together. So those things are what is used to join all these Technic bricks together to give it increased rigidity and stability. But then one of the things you also do is you cover it with regular bricks too, so you kind of increase the amount of strength and durability by a lot by doing these techniques. And that's one of the things they talk about a lot on the Lego Masters, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool show to watch if you enjoy Legos. And I mean, they're all custom creations. They don't build anything that's like a set. Now they do certain nights on that show. They do like a Star Wars night or a space night, I guess you could say, and they do different themes and stuff like that. But all of those creations are custom, and that is pretty amazing, the creativity that some of those people have. All right, moving right along. We are at number 9, which is very simple pieces to put in. And so far, so good. Everything fits on my cart, and I'm able to move over and get what I need. I need 4 of these. I know I'm talking a lot right now. Hello, you are. Thanks for joining. If you notice anything, let me know. If something sounds too loud, too quiet, whatever, please let me know. That way I can adjust it. But Tech Driving Ring Connector Smooth. That's what it's called? Okay. I've never actually looked up the name for it. That is kind of funny. Yeah. That sounds like a military designation because the military calls very complicated gives complicated names to very simple things. Like I think it was like lined paper was like some like eight word acronym or something like that, and it was just nuts. And it's like they give it all complex names to make it sound very important. So, but hey, so that's what it's called. It is a Technic driving ring connector smooth. All right. And I will not be talking the entire time, just so you know. Sometimes I will be quiet. I'm just excited with this. This is the rumors about this set have been around for a number of years, and it's been a set that Lego builders and fans of Lego that are also Star Wars fans have been very... Right, yeah, it is a technical part, so that is expected. The AT-AT has, I think it's 10, might be 10 or 11 iterations of the AT-AT in various forms. Some of them have been really small, like they have little micro, maybe I'll, for next episode, I'll bring them out and have them kind of displayed over here. I only have, well, I actually have two. I have one of the micro ones, which is kind of neat, but of course it's very, very small, and of course not very heavy, so it can support all its weight. And then there are the bigger ones that are similar in scope, but they also use Technic bricks and stuff. And as you can see now, I'm starting to put some of these flat pieces on to help increase the stability of the model. So we have the driving ring connectors that are smooth, because there are ones that actually are the same size that are only too long, but they actually have, maybe I have one over here. I do not in this. Oh, there we go. This one's actually longer than a typical one, but this is not smooth because obviously it's ridged like an axle so that you can fit things on it. Let me turn it sideways. Yeah, it's hard to see. Yeah. So that is not a smooth one. I wonder what they would call that. Alright, so more of these pieces to put on top. Anyway, so 10 or 11 AT-ATs just because I mean, like, I don't know, when I first saw Empire Strikes Back, I was really little. I never saw Star Wars, when it first came out. Empire Strikes Back was what I was first introduced to the Star Wars universe. And when it came out, I didn't see it, but we were having a party at friends of my parents, and it was a adultish type party, so I was bored. So I went downstairs, and one of the adults actually had the TV on, and on the TV was Empire Strikes Back, right when it was the battle for Hoth. It was the walkers coming across the landscape, and when I saw that, I was just like, oh, that looks fantastic, So yeah, I was hooked at that point, just from seeing that. I didn't watch the rest of it necessarily. I can't even remember how much more I saw, but I remember seeing that as the first thing. That was my first exposure. All right, we are on number 16. All right. Looking pretty good. I am going to actually lower... No, do I need to? Yeah, I'll lower this just a little bit. Because the close-up cam can kind of see this stuff better as to what I'm working on, but I like the far away just to see the overall. Alright, so there are 4 of those. I need 2 more. There we go. But that was my first exposure to the Star Wars universe, and like I say, I am hooked, obviously. I spent money to get this on Black Friday, and it was actually pretty cool That's just a Technic axle. So they don't have a very technical explanation or group of words to say what the smooth or what the axle one is, but they do for the smooth one, which is quite funny. All right. And one thing I run into is as I'm building, I will sometimes because that's why I'm saying that I'm not going to look ahead, because what I end up doing is missing something, and I'm definitely not going to miss this. But then again, I'm not doing this as a speed build, even though I am timing it. I want to just see how long things take. Alright, so let's do that, and a bunch of slanty pieces. It's funny, on the instructions, they look kind of almost black, but they're dark gray. Their dark gray is very, very dark. So I was looking in the wrong section at first. And the ridged one is just an axle, and the other ones are the Technic driving ring connector smooth. Alright, so we're gonna have 4 more of these green. We're really starting to get into some pieces that are going to be, these parts especially that you see right here are going to be used, these green things that I've just put on are going to be used to put other panels and stuff on that are going to cover, because obviously you don't see colors on the AT-AT, it is all gray, but they cover up everything pretty well. I was my Vader helmet that I finished last night was kind of similar to that, in that the inside of the helmet itself, like, there's colors all through there and stuff, and of course you don't see the colors because, well, you don't see it for real, but they cover them up really well. I mean, Lego I have touted, even though, I mean, like, you can get things like Mega Blocks and some other things that are definitely less expensive, especially with 3D printing nowadays. You can print a lot of your own stuff. But I have been so impressed with Lego and just the quality of their stuff. I know some people I've talked to have said that they've had pieces missing in a set, but they're very good about that sort of thing. I've never personally had missing pieces in any sets, even from when I was little. And 2 more. But yeah, that's why, even though Lego can be expensive, I find it to be worth it. When I built the Falcon, which I have, I'll have to show a picture or move the camera over to show it. When I built the Falcon, when I first got it, I actually got it as an auction thing, so it was, you know, it wasn't when it first came out or anything like that. And when I got it, it looked like that wherever it had set, in a storeroom or something of whatever store it came from. The box, the one corner had been damaged. It looked like something had gotten into it, whether it was a mouse or something like that. And that was it came in 2 boxes. It was an outer box and an inner box. And it was the outer box that was damaged. It didn't seem like the actual Falcon box that had the pieces and stuff in it was damaged, but whenever I opened it, the instructions were all, I don't know whether some water maybe had gotten in or something like that, but the instructions were all kind of mangled. The Falcon was not like this. The Falcon was 1 page of instructions, and it was spiral bound. It was a huge instruction book. In fact, I have it back here. And once I finish number 20, get it and show it real quick. Just because it's an amazing piece of literature. It is heavy in its own right. It's got to be at least 5 pounds. There we go. So as you can see, it is spiral bound over here. So this whole thing was ridged, and there were some rips in it and stuff like that. And sadness. I still spent a lot for the set, and I was kind of disappointed. But I got it from an auction, so it cheaper and everything like that. You can't expect everything to be 100% nice. So what I did was I contacted Lego, their customer service. Oops, see, I missed one right there. Those two. I contacted their customer service and I asked them if there was any way I could get an extra, like if they had any extra of the Falcon instructions. And the person I emailed and contacted was very nice about things, and they said, no, we don't normally have extras because the set is so big and they only do so many of them. And I said, all right. And they said, let me check on some stuff and I'll get back to you. I said, okay, fine. A couple days go by and I didn't hear anything. Oh, now we're to our next spot. So excuse me. This is going to sit there and we're going to start the next part of this. So a couple days go by and I don't hear anything. And then out of nowhere, I receive an email from the same person, and they said, your instructions are on the way. We hope that you enjoy them. And I was like, I emailed them back. I'm like, are you sure? Like, I know that they're not cheap. I was like, I have no problem paying for them and stuff. And they're like, nope, we want to make sure you're happy and enjoy. And then, a couple days later, I received this big box in the mail, and it was the instructions all pristine and everything. And it was, that just that little extra, them knowing that, typically they don't have any extras, and they went out of their way to it wasn't their fault, they didn't have to make things right in any way, but they chose to do that. Really, really, that was just amazing. That was a great thing. Alright, so this looks like we're doing another layer, but we're doing it separately, and then we're going to put it on top of the what we currently have. And we got these two weird little things to help secure everything. These go in here. Oh, nope. Did that wrong. Flip it around. Those go inside. So it's a little bit different than what we did at the very beginning. I always find it fascinating the way, like, I know they've put Lego does a whole bunch of testing and experiments for these bigger sets. And like they go through so many iterations to try to make it as realistic as possible, as true to whatever, movie, book, anime, whatever it is, TV show, like they've just come out with a couple of the Friends things. They've come out with a Stranger Things upside down, which is really cool. I've seen it. I'm not gonna get it. That's not my thing. But like they've done Harry Potter. Like everything they do, they try to go as true to whatever it is as possible. So they go through tons of iterations, trying different techniques in order to make the things work, and to make them, be something that, true fans are going to look at and be like, oh, that makes sense, But as I'm building things, a lot of times I look at stuff as I'm putting it together, and I'm like, I don't understand how this is going to work. I know they know, obviously, but somehow they figure out, and that's why they're master builders, they figure out how to do the things and make it do what they want it to. So back to the AT-AT itself, as I put this piece on. The AT-AT, like I said, about 10 or 11 different iterations of it. As I try to put this piece together, there we go. 4 of those. And each iteration, like I said, was different. There's I think there are actually 2 micro ones, or at least there's one micro one, and then there's one that just has a minifigure that goes onto it. That's still smaller. And then there are the other ones that are a little bit more, they're bigger models, but they're not this size. And I think that's one of the things that, you know, when they first came out with the very first one, that people were like, oh, you know, it would be awesome if they could do a quote-unquote life-size AT. Whoop, that one's too big. Life-size AT-AT. And part of the reason for that is, you know, like whenever I first saw, oh, here we go, putting it on. Where's it go? It goes right there. So we got structure on top of structure that fits in. Now I really want to press this down and make sure that they're all together. Might get a rubber mallet sometime to make sure that I have all these pieces down. Alright, looking good so far, yeah? There it is. Gotta adjust with the camera, I'm not sure. There we go. So, alright. So the some flat pieces. I like whenever we do the flat pieces, because it gives like the realism of the, you know, the model. It makes it smooth and, you know, kind of gives you an idea as to, like, you know, where the model is going. But anyway, the largest one, as far as an AT-AT goes, that they've done in the past, has not, I mean, it's been, probably about this high. Not very tall. But they obviously were dealing with, you know, they couldn't put, I mean, Legos, I mean, even this is decent heavy. This is probably about, I'd say maybe a pound of Legos right now that I'm holding in my hand, because I can feel the weight to it, maybe even a little bit more. So Legos do not, the weight increases pretty significantly as you build. So to make the AT-ATs, when you've got 4 legs supporting it and that's it, it's not a flat model just sitting on the ground or anything, or, you know, on car wheels or anything like that, which can easier support than moving legs. So the previous versions, and in fact I'm going to be doing the motorized one, which is really, really cool. I can't wait to see how that thing walks. The previous versions of it were much smaller than they could be. This is the first AT-AT that is life-size, and when I say life-size, it is Lego life-size. So for as tall as a Lego figure is, which they are, I don't have any right here, which is about this tall, this is comparable to life-size Lego. So, and Lego, I guess, the AT-AT is about 75 meters if you actually had a real one. And I gotta put this underneath, so I gotta flip this over. Put that underneath. Alright, just like that. Okay. Not sure what that's gonna be for. And I gotta do another one on the other side. But so 75 meters tall, comparable to Lego figures. That is a little bit over, as far as the Lego size goes, and it's a little bit over 2 feet tall. So we're talking like, well, you can't even see my hand. It's probably about, you know, it's off screen. So that's how big this thing is going to get. And the size, the sheer size and heaviness of it makes it so that they had to do a lot of engineering. There are a couple custom pieces that, and that tends to be what happens in these Lego sets, these larger Lego sets. there is something that they engineer. There's a special piece, there always is, in order to make it work properly. And which is awesome, because Lego is all about innovation and trying new things. I grabbed the wrong piece. So I like when they do that. I don't like too many custom pieces. I mean, I know some things have to change as time goes on, and as you know, in order to make things look correct. But I like as basic a pieces as possible, because that's the creative aspect, I think. It's the being able to build stuff with what you got and make it look, you know, awesome, just using bricks. So, all right, moving right along. We are on step 35 right now. What do I got? Black piece? No. Dark gray piece. There we go. So there was a lot of different things that they went through, and of course I put this the wrong way. Silly me. They went through a lot of different iterations trying to figure out what would work best in order to make the AT-AT do its thing. And what they ultimately came up with, from what I read a little bit, is that they lock the legs using not spindle gears, but spiral gear. That way, this goes on this side, it looks like, yep. That way, the legs don't move freely on their own, and allows the model to stand and not have any issues. It's not going to topple over or anything like that. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. It's boarding at the station. Oh, that the mechanism, whenever they created this, was done in such a way that, like, they had to create the gearing for the two main leg joints. They had to create bigger gears in order to be able to handle it. But that rigidity allows the model to be able to stand and be as big as it is. Not only that, it also makes it so they were able to make the model, again, life size, but when we say life size, that means it fits the number of stormtroopers inside of it that it is supposed to. Like, there are cross sections that you can find for all the different Star Wars vehicles and stuff like that. And the AT-AT says that it holds 40 stormtroopers. And I gotta make sure of something. Okay. 40 stormtroopers and 4 speeder bikes. Now, they only give you 2 speeder bikes in this, but it does have room so that you can do all 4, and there are other sets apparently coming out that will have the same type of speeder bike. Oh, now I get to use these little axles. No, I did not swear right there. I said axles. But they will have these. The sets will have speeder bikes and snow troopers, not stormtroopers, snow troopers, that can be utilized in the set. And it only comes with, I think it's like 5 snow troopers, the 2 drivers, and the commander, and obviously Luke Skywalker. So there are, this goes on the inside. So there's only 5, and I already saw some complaints of people saying, oh, they should have provided more snow troopers. And yeah, while that would have been nice, it's not necessary, I don't think. Of course, it's incentive to buy more Lego sets, but yeah. Kind of a weird little part that's going on here. Not sure what that's for. It's got little these little smooth, or the driving ring connectors smooth on there on that end, but then there's the Technic axles on the other end. Alright, so that's still there. Now we're going to do another part. What's my time at right now? 38. So far so good. First bag, we're looking pretty pretty open here. The pieces are starting to dwindle down a little bit. This first bag, probably the second one as well, is going to be all structure for the most part. I do see some more gray gray smooth pieces, and so I know part of it will at least be, you know, smooth and stuff to make it look a little bit more like you see on the screen. No, I put that in the right spot. Okay. As I build, I tend to be excited, so I rush a little bit sometimes, and I think something goes and I don't count the studs that it should be or whatever. Alright, this is going to go on that part, looks like, once I finish. More long pieces. So like I said at the beginning, this is, we're going to do another, those little spiky things. I'm still not sure what those are for. Guess we'll find out as we go along. Definitely excited for this build. I mean, they had a special for Black Friday, as LEGO is wont to do. They periodically will have specials on their site and in the LEGO stores, that if you buy it on a certain day, then you get freebies. So another build I'll be doing at some point is, whoops, there we go, is the lightsaber that came with it, Luke's lightsaber, and it's going to be a full-size lightsaber, like a standard. You could grip it around the handle and stuff, and that was a special that they had for buying it on Black Friday only, which was cool. So I have that in the box still. That one will be opened at some other day. Pardon me if you hear my table do some creaking. I had to adjust some things on it so that it didn't creak more than you hear it now, if you do hear it. Technic axle pin with friction ridges. Oh my word, that is way too complex. Though I'm betting in the back of this, it will, all the LEGO, they didn't used to do this, but now every single instruction book comes with a list in the back of every single piece that is used in that particular set, and you can go to LEGO's site and order them. And so, like I said, I've never had a missing piece, but if you are missing a piece, you just contact LEGO and say, this is what I'm missing, and they pretty much just send it to you, no questions asked. The only thing that I've seen where they don't have them, I mean, there's certain parts. There are certain parts that do not, that are very rare, and so they run out of them sometimes, or they, what's that? Where am I looking? Oh, there it is. Couldn't see it. Or they are just out of them because people buy them out And one of those is actually the Lego Mario. I don't know if any of you have seen. Yeah, there's a list of part numbers in the back. I just didn't know what it was called. The Lego Mario, they've come out with these Nintendo Lego sets that are actually really cool looking. When Rocco watches this, I know he's gotten a bunch of them, and I know he enjoys them. I actually got a couple Lego Marios from a place simply because I needed it for one of the builds I'm going to do up on my shelf is the Nintendo Entertainment System. And it doesn't require a Mario, but one of the features of it is it's got a scrolling screen, and what I mean by that is you turn a dial on the side of the TV and it scrolls, and if you have Mario on top, he reacts and responds to the different things that are coming across on the TV. And I needed a Mario, and I went to Lego's site, and they are sold out of them because the only way you can get a Mario is in the starter set. You have all these other sets, like Bowser's Castle, and different things with like some of his little dudes and stuff like that, and the only one you can get it in is the starter set. People figured this out, and they basically bought them out, and now they're selling them on eBay for like, you know, $50, and the entire starter set costs $60. So it's like they're obviously price gouging and taking advantage of it, but what else are you gonna do? Though there are other places, if you know where to look, you can get them a little bit cheaper. I got my couple for about $20. Still more expensive than they should be, but you know, if you want it, that's what they're doing. So, all right, so this one goes here. I don't know if you can see, but this has all kinds of blues here. There's going to be lots of connectors going across for more stability on both sides and everything. So we are preparing for here we go. Just talking about that now. We're going to do more support. So these two gray pieces are going to go inside here and more support everything. That's the only thing you do in this particular numbered instruction, simply because it's a lot to do. Because these are new pieces, they actually are you have to keep them straight to make sure they go on right. Oops. So see, there they are. Right there. Alright. Now to put the other two on. Again, more model rigidity and binding everything together to make sure that it's, you don't have any weird flexing, you don't have pieces that are, falling apart or coming off or anything like that. Now here's one of those instruction or parts where you do 4 times this little thing. Not much to it, but there are ones that are more. So I'm going to grab all the pieces that I need for doing this and do them all here. Alright. Not quite sure what these are used for, because again, the way Lego does things, sometimes you can see what pieces are going to be or what they're going to represent. Sometimes it's just, I don't know. It becomes clear the more you do the set. This has been a lot of underneath. We're still doing more. And more pieces to go together to do more structure. The cool thing, too, that they've been doing with these, everything Lego does is pretty cool. But one of the things that's been really neat is, and I've noticed this, and I understand why they do the colors, is because it allows, for instance, like this gray Technic piece here. This gray piece is so long. It's got so many holes in it. Well, they use this color for that size most of the time. And then there's other ones that are like, I put this on top, it's much bigger. Same with here, but this one is a different size. It's a dark gray. So the really big gray pieces and smaller gray pieces are a different size than the darker gray piece. That way it's a little bit easier to tell as you're doing the instruction which one you need, which is just a really cool thing. So I need to do 2 of these, so it'll be 4 total, but they'll be opposites. So grab the pieces that I need. And they're going to be on diagonal opposites of each other. Oops, come on. So that 1, 2, 3. Again, more structure, more support. And that's the other thing that's really cool. Like even when I did like the Falcon and even the A-wing over here, like the structure that they do. I mean, usually the first couple bags are structure, support, those kind of things, in order to prepare for being able to make the model as it's supposed to be. Alright, which way does this go? This goes here. Make sure those are good, and this goes opposite. Does it stick out? Yes, it does. It sticks out by 1. Very interesting. Alright. Those pieces right here and right here. And now we're going to do the opposite side, the opposite diagonals. So we're actually getting pretty close to being done here. I'm betting we're going to have a couple, looks like those smooth pieces are going to go on and be kind of like the fenders, I guess you could say, for the legs. Because this is the bottom part of the torso, I guess you could say, itself. What's our time at? Ooh. We're at 50:08. So we're getting pretty close. Looks like it's going to be right around an hour to do this bag, which will be pretty awesome. If I can do a bag in an hour, there's, what, 10 bags? Because, again, these bags are, there's multiple bags for each bag, quote unquote. And, you know, if I can do the main model there. If I can do a bag an hour each time I broadcast, that'll be really cool. I think that would be a good way to do episodes. Today obviously is special because I wanted to get started building. I've had this thing for a week. It's been very hard to not want to just tear into it and get started building, but I wanted to make this a pretty cool thing and special. I've seen a number of Lego stream people that do Lego builds and stuff, and some of the way they do the builds is like it's too far away. I wanted to make it so that you could see both here and see both here, you know, get a little bit closer to the action, so to speak. And I think I've done that correctly. Alright, so there we go. Alright, and now we've got, oh geez. Alright, so we got 4 more connectors. So we got big connectors here. Again, more rigidity. Gosh, I can't talk. Alright, and then 2 smaller ones. These ones aren't very big, but it's just for still keeping things where they should be. Every extra little bit of support helps. Alright, now we get to flip this thing over finally back to on top, and we're going to add these smooth parts. Again, like I said, these are kind of like the fenders. The legs go underneath here, and then least the, I guess you could say the thighs go under there. And these kind of curve around it. Alright, and, oh! Alright. I see what those are for. Those are, this is where we're going to start using those big pieces, but not yet. Won't get to those till next week. Alright, we got little tiny fenders here. Alright, and more smooth pieces. I will say this, Lego, I only have 3 extra pieces. 3 little gear pieces. Nice. Alright, there we go. Bag 1 is complete. So all of bag 1 has been used to make this. This is going to be sitting about taller than this. It's going to be about this high when it's done. So yeah, looks really cool. There's some stuff on the bottom we haven't used. Down here there's going to be a lot of complicated and intricate things that will, and actually they actually have the, I'm gonna make sure all these are down. They actually have the part where Luke Skywalker, he swings his lightsaber and opens the little panel, and well, it's supposed to just break it, but there's a panel that you'll actually see slide open if you watch the movie. But they have that little panel here that, you know, he can throw the thermal detonator into it and stuff. And there's a little hook that'll be in here, I think, so that his little grappling hook can be there. So, alright, everything looks solid. I'm going to kind of squeeze everything together one more time, because being this is kind of the base of everything, this is where it all starts. I kind of want to make sure there's no pieces that are a little bit upraised or anything like that, and it's all solid. So, there we are. It's looking good. Good start to it. Bag 1 is complete. I thank you very much for joining me and watching. The next episode and continuing episodes will be on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock Eastern. That's 8 p.m., not a.m. And we're going to continue the build then. And continuously, then we'll see if we can get through a bag each time. This one took about an hour, so. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and see you soon.